All right, we may as well get started. We're a few minutes after 5, so anyone that may join after, we'll just let them catch up. So nothing too exciting to report this week. We have our standard chapter and quiz to do. However, the written assignment is looming on the horizon for a week from tomorrow. So we're 8 days away from that being due. Reminder to everyone to submit that in Word format. That's very, very important. Read over the syllabus. The requirements are listed there. There's a list of requirements in the actual submission drop box, which is under assignments. So just make sure before you submit it, and you can submit, like if you made a mistake, you can submit again, but presuming that you want to get it right the first time, submit it in Word format and follow all the specifications as listed. I still have approximately 20% of the class that hasn't chosen a topic at this point. They will undoubtedly be surprised when they go to do their written assignment and try and cram it together in just a few days. So I have had a few requests for extensions based on other work in other classes, and I have denied those. Same rationale as always. This was announced with the syllabus, so the very first day that this is when this is due. So people have had 3 months to plan for this. So that's, other than legitimate medical reasons for not submitting, and quite honestly, even that's kind of questionable because, again, there's been 3 months to get this done. So I will review any requests for extensions, but don't count on that, please. Thank you for the background comment, Manel. Thought we'd go with a red theme today for a change. So I forget what that is, but this is some famous library or sitting room. I'd have to look it up to see what it was, but it caught my eye as a potential background. Anyways, there's nothing really exciting. The marks have been released. We've had some people go through the drop date and drop the course. It's trimmed down, but there are still people that have never signed into the course, never done anything in the course, which is not unusual. I'm not suggesting that's unusual, but in any case, hopefully everyone that's watching this or attending this is well on their way to getting a decent mark in the course. So any questions for me, comments, concerns? Do you guys all feel like you're making decent progress on your term papers? Good to hear. Well, I really don't have anything for you this week, guys. I think we've covered extensively the expectations for the term paper and various other office hours and in the description of the paper itself. If you have questions as you're coming down to the wire, please feel free to email me. Happy to help out. I suspect that a lot of polishing of the papers will be done this weekend as a guess, but my advice, as always, is to do lots of edits. So take a look through. If you can do your edits a day apart, that always works really well, so that you get a fresh set of eyes. It's hard to stare at the same words over and over again, and you start seeing what you think is there, not what is actually there. So if you're working on this and you're almost in your final polishing stage, and you can take 24 hours before looking at it again and go over it with a fresh set of eyes and a fresh perspective, that is probably a great idea. If not, that's the way it is. But if you can time things so that you get one last edit in before handing it in, then I would suggest doing that. We will be marking them as efficiently as we can to get through it, Jordan and I. But our standard will be very high here. There is a rubric that's published that'll tell you exactly what we're looking for, and we will be expecting really good quality work. So make sure it's nicely finished off, that there's not typos in it. There's, your sentences end with periods and start with capitals, those sorts of things as well. Have a critical eye for that. How long will the marking take on the term paper? Well, presuming that everyone actually hands one in, it does take a while. It's probably a couple weeks. We'll probably get pretty close to the final exam before that. My goal would be to have it done before the final, before you're writing the final, just so that you have a mental note of where you are with the last 35% of the mark coming from the final. I believe it's 35%.
So, sir, I am done. I just, as you said, we need to edit, and edit. So I'm on that process of editing.
Good. Excellent. Yeah, you'll be happy then when you get a chance, when you have that kind of time where you can do multiple edits. The polish that the paper takes on after you've had a chance to not rush, not under time constraints, but be able to look through it and make sure that you've said things the way you want, and that there's not extra words and your points coming across clearly. Those kinds of things really make for a nice polished paper that tends to have really excellent marks. So that's good.
Also, there said 10 references, 10 in-text citations, no page limit, right? We can.
Well, there's a word limit. So
sorry, I forgot about that. Got it.
Yeah, there's a word limit. You don't have to limit. You want at least 10 references. You can have more if you want, and you may cite them more than once. So you might have 20 or 15 in-text citations and 10 references, or 12 references and 24 citations in text, right? So when you, like, you'll often find when you're writing a paragraph, you'll be drawing from one or two specific sources. So every time you draw from that source, you should cite it. So in a paragraph, let's say that's 5 sentences, you might have 4 citations, but it's only 2 references that you've used. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Also, about the alphabetical order, does the citation has to be? Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, your citations, your reference list at the end should be in alphabetical order, so that, and by author, by first named author, so that it's easy to find. Like, that's all it is for me. You're going to cite, and then I'll be able to look into the list and go, oh, that's the piece of information that where you drew it from, right? That's the book, the article, the clip, whatever that you drew it from. So I don't want to have to look through. You can imagine in a bigger, if it was a 40-page or a thesis level, you wouldn't want it in sort of random order and have to scroll through pages and pages and pages of references to understand what it is you were referring to with your citation.
Got it. Thank you, sir.
Yep. We've provided good APA formatting resources, not only a video, but a website that's useful in order to just make sure those are good. It's worth, again, I'm just guessing or going by memory, say 10%, 10 to 15% for your citations and references. So make sure the format's good. That's a simple mechanical thing that you can do that avoids losing marks. Those are the easy things, right? Spelling, grammar, meaning let Word tell you if you've got some spelling mistakes or things like that. Those are the mechanical things that you can do that bring the professionalism up in the paper and get you good presentation marks, regardless of the content. So those are, you can write a brilliant paper and have it riddled with spelling mistakes, and it just takes the edge off it. It just reduces the credibility of the paper Now, you'd still probably score pretty well under the rubric, but it's a shame to let little things like that interfere with getting an absolutely excellent mark. And there are people with really, really good marks so far that have done really well in the quizzes and the midterm. And you might as well boost your average. This isn't the hardest course in your curriculum for sure. You might as well help your average with a really nice mark on this. So spend the time to get it right. All right. Any other questions? Thanks, Joanne. Okay. Okay. Well, if there's no other questions, feel free to get on with your evenings, and I'll hang around for a couple minutes, but if there's no questions, I'll sign off. Thank you. Have a great day, guys. Thanks for coming out.